Hey everyone, I'm going to try to break down the dot sight again because so many people are struggling with the concept of what it's good for, how to use it properly. And I'm here to tell you, don't worry, it is more of an art than a science. The dot sight slips into the hot shoe mount, has no connection to the camera other than that. The camera controls it in no way. It's all done manually and by feel and by experience. I've had comments like, I'm trying to photograph swifts or Crag Martin over a dam and I can't get the birds in focus. What am I doing wrong? Okay, I'm going to try and sort that out for you. So first things first, when I come here, I like to use the Ford factory sign as my focal point. Now what you're doing is the dot sight, the beam of light that's going out, it's a little green ring, less of a dot, more of a ring, and you're lining it up so that it's at the center of where your lens is looking. So I'm going to use the Ford sign in the back. So I'm going to line it up right bang in the center of the screen. That's what my lens is looking at there. Now we move to the dot sight. So I've tried to focus it as best I could here to show you what I mean. The dot sight is looking at the Ford factory sign. I've already lined it up because it's hard to see in these conditions because it's a very small thing to photograph with the phone camera. Now you've got a dial on the left that controls the dot moving left or right. And then you've got a dial on the right that controls the beam, the green circle going up or down. And you're moving the green dot sight to correspond with what you're seeing in the view screen or the viewfinder. Because when you take your camera off the tripod to do it manually, handheld, if that's what you're going to do today, if you're going to be trying to catch birds flying and you're only going to be here for a while, and you want the ultimate range of movement, you don't have it on a tripod, you handhold it. Now the first problem is, if you're wearing a cap, it's not really going to work because sometimes you do need to sort of put it quite close to your face. So just find somewhere I'll put it on my flask there for now. I put it up there because that's where I keep the tripod and it goes on there. That's why he's like, why did he fling it over his shoulder? Anyway, so here's the important part, the art versus science part. You're trying to get the pre-focus on something called the hyperfocal distance. What is this term? Now it's more related to landscape photography. It's a point of focal distance about a third into the frame to make sure as much of the foreground and background is in focus. Because obviously if you focus on a rock down here in front of you, a lot of the background is going to be out of focus. Maybe you want that effect, but a lot of landscape photographers want everything in its focus as much as possible. So for this, you're going to want to focus on something about a third of the distance, pre-focus. So I'll just point the camera down and just give the shutter button a little press, pre-focus, not taking a picture, just so that's the last place it focused. Now, generally, the birds you're going to be after are going to be in that area anyway. If they're too distant, it's not going to be worth the photo. So I assume you're taking birds at this distance. So how does it work? You know that if you lift your camera up and try to get a telephoto lens on a small bird flying, almost impossible. First of all, to get it in the frame, if the focus misses it and then goes hunting off in the background, you've lost it completely. If the small bird changes direction, you're looking through the viewfinder, you have no idea it's changed direction. But there's the secret, the dot sight. So if you're looking through the viewfinder, you've got a very, very small window that you can see through of what's going on around you. But with the dot sight out in front of you and that dot lined up with the camera lens, exactly seeing what it sees, you can see birds coming from any direction. So if that small bird takes off, you don't have to do this and look through and where is it, where is it, where is it, I can't see it. If you lift it up and look through the dot sight, it's immediate. You can see everything in your periphery. Anything moving, you can see the bird moving, oh, it's over there. And you point the green dot to the bird. Okay, yeah, this is quite heavy. A lot of people might not be able to do this, but you have to track the bird. Basically, the art comes from you just firing shots off and hoping a few of them catch it. The hyperfocal distance thing I spoke about is to make sure you've always got the camera pre-focused here. If the last bird you looked at is off in the distance, then remember when you put your camera down and you're waiting for something to happen, pre-focus it, right, okay, about there, and then put your camera back, ready for the next thing to come out. And when I'm actually taking the photo, when the bird is flying along, I'm actually pumping the shutter button so that just in case the focus goes disappearing off behind the bird or in front of the bird, you're giving the camera another jump start to get it on the bird, right? Again, art versus science. You've got two problems. Like I said, you don't know because you're not looking through the viewfinder if the bird is in focus. That's the first one. And if you're too far out, zoomed out too much, you might be cutting bits of the bird off. So it becomes a mixture of art, science, and experience. Knowing, well, that's a small bird, I can keep the lens zoomed all the way out. That's a slightly bigger bird, maybe a black-tailed godwit, maybe I come into 600 or 500 millimeters. The more you do it, the more you'll know you could zoom back a little bit. It's just practice, experience, experimenting, muscle memory. So at the moment, there's a couple of common sandpipers over there, and I've been waiting for them to take off. Every so often, something flies out in the distance. I get ready for it to come in closer. It doesn't. I was mucking around with the focus over there, and I remember, I don't even have to look now. Oh no, I'll just be looking for a bird over there, and I'll point the camera down, and it'll just tap the focus button to pre-focus down there. Then I know the last place to look there, and the focus is ready to go if something flies along here. I'll keep repeating, art over science. It's not a science. A couple of words of warning, things like the cap that I mentioned earlier. I forget sometimes and I lift it up and I knock it. That means I have to go and set it up again. Any kind of bang, it's amazing how often you tap it with something. Taking my tripod off, taking my bottle out and knocking it, hitting it with my bins, hitting a branch as I'm walking past it. Be on the ball that it's not out of line with the camera. So what I'll do now is I'll just pick a random bird and I'll show you me getting some photos of it. I'll show you the sequence, what I miss, if I've lined it up correctly. I'm gonna hopefully pick something small so I'll keep it in the frame as it flies by. So just be prepared. Obviously I'll edit out any long waits for the bird to actually take off. It could be 5 minutes, so let's see what happens. Cool, just had a common sandpiper fly in and lands. Maybe got off 10 or 15 shots. I mean, electronic, but again, whoop, it's coming in closer. I probably missed half of those. Yeah, it was too quick on that second run. Yeah, I mean, you say, well, Justin, shouldn't you have got that? Yeah, I'm concentrating on doing the vlog as well. That's my excuse. I'm just going through if anything. Right. Yeah, a lot of these missed, cutting the frame because it's actually, it's still relatively, even though it's a small bird, it is very close to the shore. So that one, which is not cutting any of it off, is not sharp. So that one's an unsuccessful one. I didn't really get any usable photos there out of about 15 shots. So someone who's been using it a while and knows how to use it still has trouble. So I'm keeping an eye. There are chiff-chaffs and willow warblers flying around. Let's try again. Oh, yep. Oy. Yep, common sandpiper. No. Oh, missed it completely. Oh, hey, yeah. That's good. Yeah. What I'll show you is the sequence. Missed a lot of them completely. Some of them weren't even, the bird wasn't even in the frame. How is that possible? That one's good. This one is keepable. I'll cut off all that dead space, and the eye is sharp. Yeah, so I'll show you the final once I've edited it. There's some other ones in there that are in the frame, but they're too close to the edge, and it would just be cutting off a load of stuff and zooming in too much. So like I say, it isn't a miracle worker. You're going to come away with maybe 1 or 2 great photos for the day. You might have taken 50 or 100 photos. So it's like any type of like photography where you're taking hundreds and hundreds. So I hope this is of some use and you managed to get some good photos out of the dot sight finally. Keep the questions coming in if you're still not getting it, and I'll try to make another video in the future where I break it down even more as best I can, although I don't know how much more I can break it down. Anyway, hope you enjoyed.